Over the last couple of years, I've been absolutely fascinated with podcasting. YouTube has been around since forever, it seems, but it was never something for me. I never liked to show my face to the public, and it really wasn't something I felt comfortable with. But podcasting, oh my god, such a cool idea. That's at least what I thought to myself. And for the last 2 years, I decided to try it out, but I never came to it. I said to myself, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, next week. It kind of turned to next year, and it ended being here, and it all kind of started in 2020 when the lockdown hit. I'm living in Germany. I'm a student, and so I'm only going to school right now. And at this time, I hadn't really had a problem with it. I was in a year, I had a year till 12th grade, and there wasn't really anything that bothered me there. There wasn't anything special that I needed to learn to really know to be able to finish school. And I had a blast. To be homeschooled, pretty dope in my opinion. And for the first couple of months, yeah, that was the absolute truth. But the longer we were kept in a lockdown, the more dreadful it became. And at that time, I started to think, okay, you have a bunch of time that you can do whatever you want in. And so I started to actually do some things. I started my own health program, was doing some weightlifting, doing some cardio. Did I do it for long enough to see any big results? No, I didn't. Did I then try out to improve my cooking? Oh yeah, I did a little bit. Like 1 or 2 meals, and that was it. And did I also try to kind of get on my entrepreneur dreams and build something, create something that I can sell with a profit and make, a living out of that? Well, I tried, but I never really came to it. And right now, it is less than 5 days till 2022, which is crazy in my opinion, because the last 2 years kind of went, they were there, but nobody really saw them go, like, where are they? Where is the time that I spent those 2 years doing whatever I did? And so I decided to completely flip the page and open my first podcast. And, well, here we are. My name is S1E0, and I'm the host of the Girlboss in the Making podcast. And I'm super excited to do this. And, I'm going to keep myself in check to do this every fucking time I want to post. My posting schedule, I decided to go for twice a week, and that's Tuesday and Thursdays. And, you're probably all curious, what she's going to talk about. Well, I'm going to talk about the three main areas in my life that I either have or really want to improve. On one part, that's personal life. I mean, everybody has it. And for me, that's working out in one really major part. Not because I really need to, but I kind of want to, I consider myself being very average, maybe a little, heavier than average, but I'm healthy as it counts, and it's good, I'm living fine, but I know I could do more, and that's where I want to see myself. And eating, oh my, over the last 2 years, I kind of recognized that there is so much more out there that I could try. And, I was never somebody to say, like, oh, I'm gonna go vegan for like a month or so. I never knew how to do that. But this year, I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna start my life to, have a diet as a pescatarian. And that's kind of like vegetarian, but with fish as an option, which I'm very excited for. And sleep improvement. I'm a person who can survive on pretty low sleep. Does it benefit me? Absolutely not. I'm able to survive, but is that living? I don't think so. And for that, I'm gonna put in meditation. And all that, I kind of, looked at it and was like, oh, that's a lot that I want to accomplish. But I'm a person who, admittedly, I'm not very good at finding programs that really help me. And this year, I'm going to try the Center app that Chris Hemsworth made. And I'm really excited. I saw the ad when the app first came out. And I was like, oh, that's really fun. But I never really did anything with it. And, a couple months ago, I saw an ad again. And I was like, you know what? I can do this now. I can do this. I have my own money. I can fucking do this. And, well, that's what I want to try out. Then, looking into school. Well, I am 18 right now, living in Germany, and I am in grade 13, and in about 6 months, I'm going to finish school, rather what I would say. And, well, school, pretty tough topic, It's not that it is overly complicated, but you need to put time in, and I know I have time, but I kind of am pretty, mediocre at managing it. And so I am going to be, hopefully, going to establish a pretty good schedule for studying and, being prepared and, as ready as I can be for an exam and, be able to ace it as much as I possibly can. Just achieving my personal best everywhere, Because school is something that is right now a major part of my life, and we want to finish this chapter of my life with a pretty good grade at the end. And with that, enter a new part, university. But that's a bridge that I have to cross then. Well, third part is work. Work, I'm going to personally divide into two parts. Work is somewhere I work. So I got a job in December of 2020. And you might ask yourself, oh, how did you get a job? Well, I got a job in a medical department. So I wasn't included in this stay-at-home rules because I worked with people in a medical field, and it's really fun, And I'm really, really glad that I got to do this. And right now, it's actually my anniversary with that. I'm right now over a year at work there, and it's great. And I just want to be able to, have a healthy balance with, my work-life balance, and just be able to get to my shifts, do my stuff, and, not be completely knocked out afterwards, which, really good connects to my personal life and sleep habits. And work, in a personal matter, I want to look at how can I make work for me? Some of you might have heard of the quote, money works for itself. And that's true, if you find something that really makes money on its own, money in, your sleep, that's really awesome. But you need to make it work. And one part of how I want to achieve this and, possibly, make a future living off of doing a podcast or something like that. That's what I want to try here. And also just trying out the new things that possibly can mean an income for myself. And that's where I decided, I could try out every month doing a new thing. And then, I don't know, making like an Etsy store or something to sell it. And with that, kind of like establishing my entrepreneur dreams and just trying out new methods to make money and build a depot with what I can then establish a bigger business or something like that. And I'm excited. Everybody always looks at stuff like that and is like, oh yeah, you do you and whatever. But I really want to take this seriously, and this is not just, something like a platform where I can talk about, how am I going to be rich at the end of this experiment. No, I kind of also want to keep things in check, just have myself be reminded that every week, twice a week, I'm gonna post a podcast episode where I actually am going to have to, talk about what I did that week, you know, and talking about that. My mom came to me and was like, "Oh, but is your life so interesting that you can do this?" Which, she didn't mean it any bad. It's just that once, so right now it's like 4 or 5 years ago, my mom was always a person. She was like, "Oh, how's your day? How's it at school? Just tell me something." And I sat there, and with a pretty serious voice, I said to her, "Mom, my life ain't that interesting." And with that conversation was over for me. But from that point, 2 years later, I sat on a couch in my parents' room. For whatever reason, I sat in my parents' room. But, I sat there and thought about what happened that day at school. And interestingly enough, I sat there about like 2 hours and just thought about what happened that day, which is crazy, because 2 years earlier I said, "Oh, my life ain't that interesting." But that moment I actually realized, no, it actually is that interesting. And with that, Tuesdays, I want to post an episode where I, look at the past week and look at, what happened there and what you can learn from it. Because, sometimes in life there are things happening that you're like, wow, that is straight out of a movie or a book. But, everybody can learn something from that. And it's kind of like something that I want to do for myself, but also for, you guys listening, that, you can look at it and be like, oh, I already was in such a situation that is, pretty similar to that, and kind of like learn it from my experience. And that's interesting. On Thursdays, I actually want to post something a little longer and look at like, okay, where's my life at? Have like my checklist of it, progress, what was I doing that week? Was I actually doing progress, or am I stuck somewhere? And, brainstorming a situation or, something that I can improve to achieve my goal in the end. And also maybe looking at what project I have for that month, opening my Etsy store, what are my stats, is it going good? Is it not going good? Is that a good idea? Or was it not? And, with that, just looking at it and say, oh, what is it? What's going on in my life? But besides that, I also have the urge to actually just be informed about what I do in my life, When I sit there a year later and think about what I did in January, I'm like, I do not know. I absolutely don't know. To me, summer, when I'm in winter and I think about summer holidays, I'm like, I do not even know what I did that summer, which is crazy. It's like, what, a couple months back, but to kind of have this podcast as a personal diary as well. And, well, I'm excited to try this, and I'm excited to maybe make it happen. And I just welcome you aboard on my, what is it? A mission. I welcome you aboard to my mission on becoming a girl boss. And we'll tune in next Tuesday. I'm very excited. And I see you.